Okay, so we're constantly being told to delay our gratification. Please forgive me. I am clearly awful at using this drawing device. And this, in and of itself, it's a very good thing. Delaying your gratification, it improves things all over your life. So this is very good, and it's obvious why we're being told to do this, why we're being told to delay our gratification. But like with anything, too much of a good thing can result in a bad thing. So the point of this video is to try and help make you aware so you're not falling into the trap of self-improvement. The kind of self-improvement hustle culture, right? Imagine this guy's a self-improvement fellow right here, right? The culture that we are surrounded by tells us that happiness, or our reward for doing whatever we want to do, sits on the other side of delayed gratification. So you put the work in now, right? You go gym. I mean, I can attempt to draw somebody doing a bench press. Oh. You know, this is exactly how you look when you're doing this, all right? Especially these parts. So essentially, you go somewhere like the gym, you put the work in, right? And then because you've put the work in before, you delay your result and you get gratification later on. And you know, this is a pretty simple process, and it's completely true, and it's completely right, and it's great. And you should be using this process. You should be putting the work in now and getting better results later on. That's kind of the whole concept of self-improvement. And this is why a lot of people kind of say in this culture, you should, you know, sacrifice your 20s. Sacrifice your 20s for a better future. So when you're 40, you're, you know, financially free. But this is where the problem kind of starts to emerge. You're trading your joy today for a hypothetical tomorrow. And look, I'm not saying it's wrong to grind. You should be putting this work in, man. If you want a good body, if you want to become financially free, you need to be putting the work in now. It's as simple as that. And I'm not saying that's not true. What I am saying is this part is wrong. This sucks because it is completely possible to make progress toward your goals while enjoying life. You should never sacrifice enjoyment of your life. We were not put on this, you know, this thing we call a planet. We were not given this experience to live just to not enjoy it. I don't know what countries these are, but you get my point. I promise you, if you sacrifice your youth right now without learning to enjoy the present moment, it will be one of the biggest regrets of your life. The thing I always like to think is, what if you died tomorrow? Seriously, think about this for a second. What if you died tomorrow? If you've been constantly chasing your delayed but greater reward down the line, ask yourself, have you ever actually lived? You can do both of these things. The greatest people that we look up to do both of these things. And this kind of brings me on to my next point. If you can't learn to be happy now with what you have now, you will never be happy, because happiness is a mindset. It's not something you gain from external possessions. And you might think, well, actually, I'm really unsatisfied with my life. I hate where I am. How can I be happy when I hate where I am? How can I be happy when I currently hate my position in life and all I can think about is getting to a better position? There is a massive difference between being unsatisfied and being unhappy. I don't know why I'm capitalizing difference as well, but you know, we've done it now. So what does this mean? This means that you can be unsatisfied like you currently are, and that, oh my God, and happy. You can strive for more while still being happy, while still appreciating everything you currently have. You should never be satisfied. You should always be unsatisfied and striving for more, because you'll never be perfect. If you're always unsatisfied like that, like you should be, then you're always going to be unhappy. And do you want to always be unhappy in order to better yourself? And if you're unhappy, are you even bettering yourself in the first place? I don't think so. The goal is to appreciate life. The goal is to be happy with what you have. The goal is to enjoy the blessing of life that we've been given. And you're sitting in this constant state of being unsatisfied and using that as an excuse to be unhappy. How can we fix this trap? How can we make sure that we're not falling into the trap of self-improvement that so many people fall into? Okay, well, I mean, it's pretty obvious, but let me start with this. You need to learn to enjoy the journey. I promise you, if you make it to your goal, you're going to look back and wish that you had enjoyed getting there. Very rich man called Jordan Welch talks about this all the time. Plan rest, you know, plan times for fun. Like, just because you want to improve yourself doesn't mean you can never go out with your friends and never party, but it means you shouldn't be doing that every weekend. Live in moderation, but still have fun, man. You also need to redefine what success feels like. You need to switch from an end goal perspective to a system perspective, a process perspective, right? You need to make the process towards your goals, the progress that you make towards your goals, the part that you feel successful from, not just the end goal. This says goal. And like I said above, and I'm repeating myself a bit here, but I really want to get this message through. You can reach your end goal. You can become everything you ever want to be. And I promise you, if you don't enjoy the journey on the way there, you will look back and regret it. And I think, to be honest, the biggest one for me is you need to detach. There's a thing called the law of detachment. And essentially what this is saying is you will get to your goal. If you put your work in, you work every single day, you work as hard as you can, you will eventually get lucky. Everybody gets lucky in their life. You will succeed. But you will also suffer in your head. This will only happen if you learn to stop suffering in your head. The Buddha said we suffer more in our heads than we do in reality. And I guarantee you can relate to suffering and worrying about not achieving your goal and worrying about what you should be doing and trying to find your purpose, and you're not sure what your purpose is, so you don't know what you should be working on. You need to slow down. Just trust that everything will work out. Trust in the process. Trust that if you keep working, you will figure it out. And this is also not only how you make more progress, because you're not worrying all the time and you're not delaying your work efforts with your mental state of constant anxiety and worry about what you should be doing, but it turns you from a thinker to a doer. You know, like thinkers, they're constantly worried. They're constantly worried trying to think about their future and their purpose and what they should be doing, and they can't figure it out because they're thinking too much and they're paralyzed from analysis. So they're just constantly in this state of anxiety and they never know what to do, which means they never do anything, which means they never make any progress. While doers, you know, they just get on with it. They don't need certainty. And if you want to start making progress in anything, you're going to need to live with uncertainty. You're going to need to learn to live in the uncertain. If you look at any successful person, entrepreneur, anything like that who has come up, I guarantee you they've had to go through really difficult times of uncertainty. And if you detach and just believe and understand that it will all work out, no matter how long it takes, if you just keep going, it will work itself out. It lets you stop being constantly worried, stop constantly analyzing your situation, what you think you should be doing, and it lets you actually just take action, which is how you actually figure stuff out anyway. And kind of on a side note to this is kind of why religion is so powerful. I mean, I'm not saying that it's not because God exists and is actually powerful himself. I'm just saying if you truly believe in a God, you know, all this detachment immediately comes to you because you truly believe that there is a God watching over you. And if you think that, then suddenly you're not suffering in your head because you're detached from the process. You know it will all work out because you're being looked after. And I think that's why a lot of successful people are actually religious people. So the entire point of self-improvement is to improve your life. It's not to postpone your life for something in the future. So I hope that's the kind of message I got across in this video. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to follow me on Instagram. I have sick stuff up on there right now. You know, so many followers, so much content on there. You know, it's really brilliant over there, actually. I think you should go check it out. Thanks.